Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by the member-elect from Ilaje Eseldo Federal Constituency of Ondo State, Honorable Donald Ojogo, for discussion on the 10th House of Representatives and how the opposition parties take the majority seats. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Honorable.
Thank you, and I appreciate you for having me.
All right, now let's start this way. You know, this is the first time opposition parties won majority of seats in the House of Representatives. I would like to know the implications of this, and with this, how will the ruling party control the House?
Well, thank you so much for that question. In the first place, hello?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
In the first place, in the first place, I do not want to believe that there are serious implications for the present state or the present composition of the House. If at all, it's what I would describe as a very phenomenal development that is positive, that is very, very healthy for our very young democracy, because Nigeria is not beyond being young in terms of democratic process. So it's a very good development.
All right. You know, I asked this because since the introduction of the presidential system of government in 1979, no ruling party in Nigeria has failed to win a majority in the two chambers of the National Assembly. What is the implication of this for legislation in the National Assembly?
Well, maybe you have to dissect it from this angle. You're looking at Nigeria's democracy as it is today. There are parties, there are political parties. But the political parties are not just 2, 3 political parties. It's a multi-party democracy that Nigeria practices. And as it is, we have a few parties, about 4 or 5 parties, that have become very dominant. It's a very healthy development for our democracy. So you're talking about the APC, how the APC tends to control the House. I can tell you without looking for a prophet that the APC will continue to control the National Assembly, particularly with regards to the House of Reps, where the opposition, the combined membership of the opposition appears to be above that of the ruling party. And let me also say this. The figures as they are, 175, 118, 35, 19 for APC, PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP respectively. Maybe two members for 2 or 3 other parties. Everything makes up 357 for now, because I'm made to understand that 3 other elections are still outstanding. So in all, we have a clear majority looking at the stance of the parties individually. But when you now bring these opposition forces together and continue to, when people bring them, not you, sorry, I have to withdraw that word, when people tend to shun out the narrative that opposition has overwhelmed the ruling party, which is the APC, I do not agree. Because the parties as they are, they have their own different identities, they have their own ideologies, and they have their own inclinations. Mind you, you should know that the NNPP, for instance, is an offshoot. It's a creation, if not an offshoot, or a satellite party of the APC. The Labour Party is a reactionary arrangement of the PDP. So even those 2 parties we are talking about that appear to be dominant in this race for opposition leadership, they are reactionary parties that do not even believe in the ideologies that they also profess collectively as individual parties. They are dialectically opposed to each other, and they can be the same. They can be same in their political thoughts. So I do not have this fear at all, and I believe I may not be speaking on behalf of the APC, but that is the mind of an average leader of the APC, that there is nothing to fear about, there is nothing to worry about as far as this race is concerned. If there is anything democracy has achieved, it is this present composition, because the people spoke, and that is a reflection of the wish and wishes of the Nigerian electorate, that they have decided to vote for individuals, they have decided to vote for political parties, and making it, appear as a very healthy competition. So it's a very good development that must not elicit any fear from any quarters. Rather, it encourages those of us in the APC, is an elixir to do more and to also improve the quality of our representation in the National Assembly, particularly in the House of Representatives.
Right. So let's talk about the race for the House of Representatives Speakership. How will you describe it?
The race is interesting, very encouraging, and it has brought to the fore, again, the beauty of democracy. It has brought to the fore the quality of human beings we have in the National Assembly. But one significant thing I will also want to espouse here today and this evening is that this is the first time in the history of democracy that this number of persons who aspire to be speaker, this number of persons would have exhibited seriousness in the race to be speaker. Whereas we have interest groups that have been able to gather themselves together, we have interest groups that have been able to pull themselves together, we have interest groups that have expressed and professed their preferences for parties. Nobody is insulated. Nobody is excluded. I'm also involved. I'm also one of those who believe that a particular person must be the speaker. I have my beliefs. For instance, in a particular person. There are others who also have that belief, but we are doing it in a very healthy manner to ensure that at the end of the day, we bring out quality leadership for the House of Reps. And why this is so important is this. This is the first time since democracy started in 1999 that we will have this turnout or this roll-in of freshers. I am one of the freshers. We are over 220. As at the last time before the last make-up elections, we were 222. It had never happened before. So these are people who are coming with some form of vibrancy, some form of zeal. There is so much of expectation on the part of individuals who are coming to the House of Reps. But the collective goal of everybody, the collective goal that must bind all of us together is how we'll be able to wrought quality representation, how we'll be able to wrought development on the good people of the nation. Nigerians are not interested in who looks finer in the race. Nigerians are not interested in who looks taller in the race. What we are interested in is to ensure that we instill the needed leadership that will enhance democracy, that will provide more quality for democracy, that will also enhance the living standards of the ordinary Nigerian. That is what Nigerians are more interested in than the ephemeral things that are associated with the race. But going forward, I think we have to look deeper. We have to look at the different aspirants who are running. They are all ably qualified. But amongst all of them that are equally qualified, we should be discerning enough to be able to say that this one has this experience, he has this experience. Experience is a nebulous thing. When we say this one is experienced and all of them are experienced, what manner of experience are we talking about? As for me, I believe that the House will be a better place to be. The House will be more helpful to the incoming administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu if we are discerning enough to go for that leadership, to go for that speaker that has the presiding officer, the advantage of the presiding officership over and above others. Who am I talking about? For me, people might consider...
Before that, Honorable Donald, before that, we'll get to that, believe me.
This.
Now, some people believe, before we talk about the leading contenders, some people believe the president should not get involved in the speakership race. For you, what do you think?
Well, I think we are not being realistic if we espouse that narrative, that the president must not be involved. Yes, the president might not come and impose. He's a Democrat. The incoming president. He's a Democrat. He's a progressive Democrat who has exhibited the virtues of democracy over the years. He knows how to get things done. He's not going to impose anybody, but to say that the incoming presidency should not be involved in who becomes speaker, unless we are being preposterous. If not, it is not done anywhere. There's no way you can insulate governance at any level, whether it is at the level of the states, at the level of the judiciary, at the level of the legislature, or even at the level of the executive, from some form of interface that must take place between the executive and the legislature. It is not possible. Even in America, where we copy this democracy from, the presidency is even more involved in the affairs of the Congress. Who is the president of the Senate? The president of the U.S. Senate is the vice president of the United States of America. There is no form of involvement that could be more glaring than what the U.S. is doing. But they have a reason for doing it, because they need synergy, they need collaboration, they need cooperation, and they need that collective, they need these collective efforts to ensure that democracy in America is made better each day. And that is what we are also trying to do. In Nigeria, we are even fair. Those who crafted the Constitution are fair enough to say that, yes, there must be separate leadership for the Senate, separate leadership for the House of Reps. But to say that the incoming president must not be involved at all, it is not practicable. I think we have to face the truth. There must be some form of pre-inauguration arrangements, discussions, and that is why we are talking about zoning. If he was not going to be involved, for instance, and if the party was not likely to be involved, for instance, then why are we talking about zoning? Everybody clamors for zoning. Even in the camps of those who are running for the speakership of the House of Reps, all of us are saying that, yes, the party has said we must do our thing diligently and in a way that is devoid of rancor. But our collective thing is we are all clamoring for zoning to our respective areas of interest. So that is why zoning is coming up. If not, nobody will be talking about zoning. So it is, to say the least, it is not practicable for us to say that the incoming presidency must be insulated from how the leadership of the National Assembly emerges. It must be interested in what manner of leadership it is bringing on board. It must be interested in what it desires to achieve. There is no way a recalcitrant or a very confrontational leadership in the National Assembly will ensure full budget implementation status. Look at what we have witnessed in the last 4 years. We cannot say that we have not had it as good as we desire. Very nice House of Reps, and including, a very nice National Assembly leadership that ensure that there is cooperation between the legislature and the executive arm. And it does not also mean that the National Assembly, for the 4 years under the outgoing President Buhari, was a rubber stamp. It was never a rubber stamp. It was very firm, affirmative, very focused, and very robust in its engagement with the presidency, the executive. But what happened? That synergy brought what we think, for the first time, I can consider almost 90% budget implemented. It has never been more than 60% previously. That is also good for us. That is the only way we can have very healthy intersectoral competitiveness. And once that happens, we are bringing development to the people. You are also ensuring that the lives of the ordinary Nigerians is made better than they were before. Whether it was a year or two before, that is what we should be looking at. Let us not be talking about whether someone will be interested or not. In fact, every Nigerian must be interested in the leadership that must emerge in the 10th Assembly.
The leading contenders for the race of the speakership. Now, we have the likes of Wase, Gagdi, Doguwa, who are leading the race for rest speakership. I know you say you're a fresher, but then what can you say about these individuals?
Well, the time you are giving to me is okay, but what will I say about them? I have had the opportunity of interacting with one or two of them, either formally or informally. But I've had a very deep conversation with the current deputy speaker, who was deputy majority leader to the outgoing speaker, current deputy speaker, to him also, to Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. I'm talking about Honorable Idris Ahmed Wasi. He's the person I've interacted very well. So I have my flair for him. I have my preferences for him. So I can only talk more about him. He's a man that I've seen that has true Nigerianism in him. Yeah, because of content, there may be a lot of stories flying up and down. But the truth of the matter is that apart from his vibrancy, I have seen quality leadership content in this man. Here is a man that has shown commitment and loyalty. He has displayed conscionable leadership abilities that we must not joke with as a political party and even as a member of the House of Reps. Like one of the governors put it, he said the APC and the National Assembly, particularly the House of Reps, needs Honorable Idris Wasi much more than Idris Wasi desires to be Speaker. And that is a very phenomenal and fundamental statement. He knows why he's saying it. In 2007, this is the only man who contested and won on the platform of the defunct ACN, if he was not the only person, among the very few. The defunct ACN, Progressive Family. He gravitated from there to ACN, from there to APC. He has never deviated from the Progressive Family. And he has remained committed. He has remained very, very loyal, and he has remained very steadfast in his dealings. I have had the opportunity of looking at his past. I've had the opportunity of how and what he has done. I've had the opportunity of seeing how he has been able to stand in for the speaker, who is his leader. He considers him as his leader, who we all see as a nationalist. All the time, and some of us have also had the opportunity of having this very tempestuous narrative that in some cases was a take the bullet for Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. So he has been a very loyal deputy. I know that an overambitious deputy speaker would have made the outgoing Ninth Assembly much more turbulent than we are seeing it. We have seen a very stable National Assembly, particularly at the level of the House of Representatives. That couldn't have been achievable if we didn't have that level of commitment from the Deputy Speaker. And I think it's in a normal climate, in civilized climes, this ought to be a natural thing for Wasi to transit from the position of Deputy Speaker to be Speaker of the 10th Assembly. That is on the side of my own judgment as far as the individual is concerned. But coming to look at it again, he is from the North Central. In the last, since 1999, the North Central has never produced the speaker. And here is an opportunity for us to say, yes, we can try it. The Northwest has also produced a speaker.
Just like you also, rightly pointed out, because the APC leadership is here to zone the positions at the National Assembly, it may be very hard for most of these contenders to do a lot. Now, don't you think this delay is unnecessary and dangerous for the party?
Well, I do not want to say it is dangerous. I also do not want to contest. I'm not persuaded to think that it is also unnecessary. I am not in a position to come to national television and say, yeah, the delay is unnecessary, the delay is dangerous. The party leaders know what they are doing. There are several things they may have been considering. There are several issues that they may have put on the table to consider. So it's not just a single content of an issue that we are looking at. The party members could be, the leadership of the party could be looking at how best the speaker, the incoming speaker, will be. How will it fit into the policies of the party? What is his pedigree? What are his qualities that they want? And before I forget, before I go on, and that is one of the reasons those of us who are freshers, over 200 of us, We have not had the opportunity of even interfacing with most of these aspirants. I hope and I believe that the outgoing leadership of the current House will find it expedient to create a forum whereby the freshers, those of us who are coming on board for the first time, we have an interactive session with all the aspirants like the TV stations do during debates, at governorship polls. It's a very healthy one where people are made to engage those who want to lead them. Nigerians want to know the stuff individuals who are gunning for the speakership are made of. Our people in our constituencies want to know who we are supporting. If, for instance, as I'm supporting Honorable Idris Ahmed Wasi, and he comes up to speak, and he does not, speak well as a leader, I don't think I'll be comfortable enough to continue with him. But I believe in the capability and the abilities of the man I'm following. So also other people, other ref members who believe in the capacities of their preferred choices. Why do they not want to create an opportunity for us to listen to these people? And what am I trying to say? I am proposing that there must be a debate amongst all these aspirants who are contending. Let us look at.
All right, Honorable Donald, because of time, let me quickly get your take on this. The figure won by opposition parties is one more than the statutory benchmark of 181 votes required to elect a speaker. So the opposition caucus has resolved to clinch the position. How feasible is this for them?
Well, as of today, I apart from being a politician as I am today, I'm a journalist who have covered politics for more than 15 years of my 25 years of journalism. So I can confidently say, and comfortably too, that I can project. Anybody the party decides at the level of the APC that must be the speaker, or anywhere the party decides that the speakership should go to, whoever wins that race will win with nothing less than 205 votes. You can take this to the bank. Whoever wins will win with nothing less than 205 votes. And why do I say this? It is practically impossible for the opposition party, the combined forces of the opposition, to say that they will have influence in who becomes the speaker. We know they are very important. And because we are trying to build national cohesion, we need all of us. And all of us, I mean even those in the opposition parties. But as individuals, I said it earlier, are they also together? I know, of course, the opposition parties have a combined number of over 180. But out of the 180, I know some who are supporting some other aspirants. They are not all supporting.
Honorable Donald, we're out of time. Sadly, we're out of time. But of course, I know we're going to continue this conversation some other time. I must say a very big thank you to you for coming on Politics Tonight. I've been speaking with the member-elect from Ilaje-Seldo Federal Constituency of Ondo State, Honorable Donald Ojogo. We're discussing the 10th House of Representatives and how the opposition parties take the majority seats. Thank you very much for coming on Politics Tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.